All right, sweet. I think we're good now. So hopefully people can hear us. I want to introduce my guest for the first Modern Day Overthinker local live. Oh, they're doing subtitles now. This is sweet. All right, I just see that on the other screen now. It's Ben Snider. He's a Davenport native, and I'll kind of let you introduce yourself. Let people know who you are. Where you grew up, where you went to school, all that good stuff. 'Cause we're trying to keep things local here. So
Sure, yeah. My name, like Colin said, Ben Snider. Grew up here, pretty much lived here my whole life in the Quad Cities. Graduated from North High School. Went to Western Illinois, the Moline campus here. Graduated from there with a bachelor's in law enforcement and minor in security administration. And then got my second bachelor's at Ashford University up in Clinton in supply chain management. Worked locally here at Best Buy, Toys R Us, Menards, pretty much all retail. Most of my family's here in town. Other than that, created an app, local boy. So, yeah, that's pretty much me right now.
So what's I looked over the app. I looked over some things. So tell us a little bit about the app and kind of what makes it different. I know it's food related, obviously.
Yeah.
But just a little bit about it. I know you're still kind of working on launching it here.
Right. Yeah. So the app itself is the concept is really takes off on the idea of best price guarantee for food delivery. So
delivery focused.
Delivery focused, yeah, and it's to save people money. So think about the concept of like hotels.com. You go there and they basically negotiate or give you the best price for a hotel room, right? Well, that's what my app does. It's going to compare price between Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, Postmates. Those are the big four in the food delivery service. And it's basically going to use an algorithm that pulls data. Now, in the Quad City area, yeah, it's not big yet. We're using technology based off of another app called Food Boss, which is very similar to Tumtum. But they don't have the social media side that I do. And part of my app is not only the comparison price of food delivery, but also being able to post how was your experience on social media. So was the food delivered with a quality experience? Was the food ordered correctly? Was it hot? All of those things. And then you can post how good the food was, so people can share really dedicated to food only. So not where a lot of your other social media things are just all over the place. This is just dedicated to food, which I think people generally like. It's in 68 major markets right now. In Chicago, Dallas, Seattle, stuff like that. And
major cities.
Major market. Yep, major markets at this point. So.
Sweet. So what led up to this? I mean, a lot of things led up to this, right?
Right. Well, yeah, a lot of things led up to it. What happened was I created this app with the help of my nephew. One night, he was staying with me. I was at my mom's. I had a terrible accident, and unfortunately, I had to amputate my leg. And I was staying with my mom for a really long time. And one night, my nephew and me were hungry. And it was like midnight, and we're playing the NBA 2K. And we wanted food delivered. and we didn't want to cook anything, and we wanted McDonald's, something greasy. And we started to dig into the food delivery thing, and we started to realize that that market is unfair. And it's unfair because there's so many apps out there that do essentially the same thing, yet there's no quality control. There's no information on what you're really paying for. You look at fees, you look at taxes, extra surcharges,
Yeah, it's a
and
lot.
tips. Now all of a sudden your $10 value meal is turned into $22.
Yeah, I've stopped myself from doing DoorDash mainly multiple times. So I'm like, oh yeah, I look at what I'm ordering, and then I look at the final page. I'm like, this just doubled. I'm like,
Right.
I
And
need to just
so
get off my ass.
right. That's right. And and I thought it's a huge disservice. And what's interesting about it is before we hit the pandemic, I was already creating Tumtum. I was way before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit. And it kind of gave me time to really understand the industry. And what I noticed in the industry was there's price gouging. So during this pandemic, DoorDash, all of them did it. They raised their delivery price.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Of course they did. And so there's still not a regulatory market on what these companies charge and don't charge. And it's very confusing for the consumer. So that, number one, TomTom takes care of that for you. It eliminates that confusion and what we call app hopping, where you hop from one app to another.
See which is better. Yeah.
That's right. So that my app takes care of that. So yeah, we created it with the idea that, we shouldn't have to do this. It's stupid. And then, like I said, the social media side. But, I was sitting there laying on my back for 2 years and I couldn't walk. And I felt I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything.
And you're a guy that's working retail on your feet all the time. And
yeah.
Yeah.
For 20 years, been in retail. And I always had I felt I had a good marketing background, even though I didn't have a degree in it. I knew business pretty well. And, from there, I started to Google, how do we create an app? Now, I don't have the coding or the IT background. So I went through a company. I actually went through 2 companies, and initially, and the reason I did was you never put your eggs in one basket in business. And so I wanted to have the most informed decision possible moving forward, and that's what I did. And then from there, it's just been a project for about 1.5 years of coming up with number one, the company name, TomTom, the logo, the artwork, the color scheme, the framework, how it flows, and then the nitty gritty. You have to get a hold of AWS, and you have to get a hold of Shopify.
What's AWS? I'm not familiar with that.
Amazon Web Service.
Okay,
for your servers.
Yep.
So and you have to get a hold of iOS and Google Play.
Yeah.
So these are all things that you have to do to make this thing actually show up on your phone.
Yeah.
I've got an idea. We should really do this. And it costs money.
Yeah.
And I was at a point in my life where I didn't know, first off, if I was going to live. with my injuries. And we had talked a little bit before about this, but you know, I lost my leg. I couldn't do anything, and I felt I didn't have any hope. I felt my life was over. So I felt that if I created something, that this would give me purpose.
Yeah, makes sense.
And in a way it has, because it's something to look forward to, and whether I'm successful or not.
There's always something to do with an app too. It seems like there's always something for you to be doing.
Yeah. And, you know,
updating
and, you know, maybe a collaboration with Food Boss or Grubhub and making those business connections.
Yeah.
And maybe reaching out with those companies. And because a lot of these apps, these food apps, they don't, you know, they have a rating system, and yeah, you can look at reviews, but it's pretty poor. It is. It's just poor. So, and I just, and you know, another thing that irritates me when you're going through these food apps is a lot of times you don't even know the price for delivery.
Yeah, you don't know that until you get to the end.
To the end.
Yeah.
And that to me is a disservice as well. But that, you know, those are things that I've picked up on of what these companies should be doing. And it's what my app wants to be, or what I want my app to be. So, you know, really in business, it's learn what not to do.
Yeah.
You know, and really in life too. But you know, as far as, you know, creating that, I had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And here where it's at, and now I do have something to lose. And to be quite honest with you, it's because I'm sober.
Yeah. So when did that the timing with the leg kind of the same timing as getting sober as well?
Yeah. You know, it's about 5 years ago now I went into rehab, and I didn't take it seriously. I did it for obligation, made to make people happy,
Yeah.
to save my job, you know.
Done. Yeah, I've been there. Not to save the job, but mine was like save like relationships, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was sober, then not sober, on again, off again, back out, back in, back out, back in, you know. And I had gotten fired from my job because of alcohol. And I had another job lined up, and I was pretty drunk at a bar and stepped off the curb, compound fracture on my ankle, which we couldn't repair it. And that led to the amputation, which led to me laying on my back for two plus years in hospital, nursing homes, my mom's, which led to Tumtum. But this time around, sobriety for me, I'm doing it for myself.
Yeah, and that at the end of the day, that's what you have to do it for.
And whether or not Tumtum works or doesn't work, I'm okay with that, because I know I have my higher power. And I know that moving forward, praying to God one day at a time that I'm sober, life will get better. Because a year ago, I finally got my prosthetic leg. I never thought I'd ever walk again. And all of the physical harm that I put myself in with alcohol, cirrhosis, insanity in the brain,
Yeah.
you know, the endoscopies, the um, everything happened for a reason. And one thing that I've learned is that whether you've made bad choices or good choices in life, it's what you take with you is the experience. And if you can take that experience and kind of look at it in a neutral way and let your higher power kind of guide you, I think you're cool. But you got to change the way you think. And you got to get sober and you got to get on the right medication.
Yeah, because you were kind of self-medicating, obviously, as most people were doing.
Oh God, yeah. And
It's pretty much everyone I talk to, I mean, that has a drinking or drug problem was, there's an underlying issue of some sort. Usually it's a mental health issue.
yeah. And for me, and I don't have a problem admitting it. I've been diagnosed with bipolar. Where I have very extremes.
Yep. Extreme highs, extreme lows.
And alcohol is a very emotional drug.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're liquored up all the time and you're bipolar, you've got a kind of a double whammy. And so, and I won't go into war stories from one addict to another. I'm sure we could go round and around all day.
Yeah.
And nothing I'm proud of. But that loneliness, and I had a mental breakdown in the middle of a casino. It was right before surgery, and I was drunk, and I just lost it. And you're right, the underlying issues, you got to get to a therapist. You got to be honest, because if I didn't find sobriety and find my higher power, I would be dead. That's a fact.
Yeah, and that's what you got to realize. I mean,
That's a fact. That's a fact. I'd be dead, and I don't want to die. And for whatever reason, through all of the things that we've talked about, the higher power, the spirituality, prayer, sobriety, medication, therapy,
yeah,
all of those things you have. For me, as an alcoholic, for me, I have to live by those.
yeah, it's maintenance. It's all about it.
Yeah, I have to live by those principles. And if I don't live by those principles, I'm dead.
Yeah. Either dead or you want to be dead.
Right. That's right. And
Yeah.
I had planned out how I was going to die. Sure.
Yeah, you're just sold yourself on it.
I mean, I had no reason to live. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
At the time, that's what I felt and thought.
And you went through before we got in here, how many different surgeries before they just said we're just gonna have to remove it?
14.
Yeah, which is insane.
14 surgeries, and then 3 after. So the amputation, and then I had 2 more after that because of the artery bursting and
Oh yeah.
and bleeding out.
Yeah.
And I passed out, was in the ambulance, and 2 tourniquets.
I don't know how much a tourniquet is, but I imagine it's a lot.
Um, it hurt,
Yeah, I bet.
but at that moment, and I flash back, we're talking about mental illness a little bit. I have PTSD from that moment. And there's times where there's a trigger or something, and I will flash back, like looking down and watching myself bleed out.
Yeah, that's traumatic.
But those are things, though, that you have to talk to your therapist about.
Oh yeah. Or at least someone.
Someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But mental illness. I look at all of these shootings right now, and it's scary because we can pass laws for guns, but what we're not doing is helping people with mental illness.
Yeah.
And I've had a few friends pass away, knowing that a couple of them I knew were struggling mentally. And I was unaware. I didn't know how to help that person.
Yeah.
You can say, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?" But ultimately, there's something more, like that underlying issue.
Yeah.
And it's really, mental health is so important. And I've never realized it until, and when I talk about experiences, I would never know that mental health is serious until I'm affected by it. Me personally, I deal with it every day.
Yeah.
Every day I have to tell myself, take my medicine. Every day I have to tell myself to do things, or I won't do them.
Yep. Yeah, avoidance is a big thing for me. I avoid things pretty easily that I know are gonna be more difficult or possibly cause me more anxiety or more stress, or potentially lead to me being depressed. Because with me, it's my underlying things is depression, and it's not just. I was talking to my barber earlier today about it. We always talk about mental health like every time I'm there because he's like he knows I want to talk about it anyway. And we talked about how it was just getting to a point where how do we put it? Basically, people are using they're saying they're like, oh yeah, I'm so depressed because my boyfriend broke up with me or something like that, and they don't even know what they're saying. They're just like, you're sad. Like there's a big difference between me waking up and just feeling depressed and feeling unmotivated to do anything, and I don't even know why, just for no reason. and people don't get that. And there's another thing that we're talking about is he's likes to talk about. He's open about him being bipolar as well, and he talks about that. I'm actually going to probably have him on a podcast too. And he and I both agreed that we have issues with people saying like, "Oh yeah," like using the word bipolar, like saying, "Oh, I'm bipolar because my mood changes quickly or something, or I get mad really easily or something like that." It's like, and people don't know what they're talking about. They're like, and I hear it with OCD because I'm diagnosed with OCD, and people are like, "Oh, I'm so OCD. I like to clean this or be tidy and all this stuff." I'm like, most of the people that have OCD are not like that at all. They don't like. I am super unorganized, but I have thoughts that go through my head all the time, racing thoughts, stuff I don't want to think about, and also stuff I don't want to do, but I feel like I have to do because I will get more anxious.
Yep.
And so people don't realize that they just throw things around, and how people are basically making it worse and not even knowing it by bringing those type of things up. And yeah, we had a good conversation about that, and it was just like, and people using it as an excuse too. Like some people use it as an excuse not to do things, and they make it very open about that. Like, um, yeah, it's definitely tough, but by making an excuse, you're telling people that they can make it an excuse too. They can be like, they can say, "Oh, I'm not. It's raining today. I'm feeling
Right.
down, whatever." If they have I get it with seasonal stuff too. Like sometimes I get like in the fall, like fall fucks me up every year. I don't know why. I just always feel weird in fall. I don't like fall for some reason, but it messes with my head and I don't know why, but I don't try to use that as an excuse not to do anything. Um, because I know if I don't do anything, I'm just going to be worse anyway. I have to stay active. I have to stay focused on what I want to do and continuing to try different things that I was scared to do, even when I was drinking. Like I did the whole stand-up comedy thing. I don't think it went that well. It was fun. It was an open mic thing, so no one expected me to do anything spectacular and just go up
Right.
there and be a natural. So, but I never even considered doing that when I was drinking. And I thought I could do all kinds of stuff when I was drinking or doing other substances. And I don't know, just I found I could respect myself a lot more than I used to. And that gets better the longer I stay clean, the longer I stay away from all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got a buddy. You know, as you know, we don't claim anybody to be an alcoholic unless they say they are.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but one of my old friends,
He could play one on TV. You know?
um, I think he's probably an alcoholic, and he calls me up drunk every weekend, and those conversations, I hear myself,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and I cringe every time I hear myself on the phone, and I avoid that phone call because I know what that phone call is going to be, and it's going to be me on the other side of that phone. Really,
yeah,
really, I'm going to be literally giving myself my own advice that I should have been giving to myself for a very long time before, um, knowing that I was exactly that behavior.
yeah. I've
But
had a lot of people reach out to me, not that consistently though. That's interesting. Um, that's actually kind of good in the sense. that he's consistently doing it because he knows there's some type of that's obviously that's like it's like the zero step kind of before you actually do the first step is
Yeah,
knowing in the back of your mind.
there's
Yeah, that
there's
was me. That
yeah,
was me like when I used to sit at bars and I'd go to bars so often where I was just like, why am I even here? And then I would still stay. I was just like, I don't even know why I'm here. I don't even really want to be here that much. Uh, I'm getting to the point, and then got to the point where I was running a lot of the same people all the time. It's like I don't even really like these people that much. Some of them I did, some of them I miss seeing, but that's the only way I could see them as if I went to the bar.
yeah,
Um, and then I got friends with like certain bartenders I'm still good friends with, but I can't go see them at work. I could go with somebody else, but I would have to leave immediately and I would be bored. I'd be like, this is boring. There's
yeah,
no reason for me to be here.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, the only places I've gone really is like I'll go to Analog because you can just play games and stuff there. It's not really I mean, there's a bar there, but it's not the main focus. So that's something fun to do. And there's, I've been to the Dry Bar a couple of times. It's all right. They have pretty good food there. Um, so that's a different experience. It's mainly all people that are in recovery that go there anyway.
right.
Um, so that's been pretty cool. But yeah, it's just finding different things to do and yeah, finding things that you're passionate about that you were avoiding doing because you're messed up
Yeah.
all the time.
Oh yeah, and it's and I think one of the biggest things for me now is I don't have to look over my shoulder anymore, and I don't have to lie.
Yeah.
Um, my experience is my experience, good and bad. Like I said, and the mistakes I've made, I got to make them right. And that's it. I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of mistakes, a lot of hurt, the insanity of alcohol. It's just
And some
crazy.
people like down the road are just like they'll forgive you without even asking because they're just so happy that you're doing the
Sober.
right thing. Yeah. And
Well,
not that person anymore.
and that's really what I keep focused on is, you know, no matter how hard my life could be in the future, you know, I don't know. I don't know if Tumtum's going to be successful or not. But I know now that I have the experience and the skills, hopefully, to not take that drink
Yeah.
because I don't want to take that drink for me. But I could have never. There's so many factors that play into your sobriety. It's not just one factor.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the right people around you. You got to go to AA. You got to get to a meeting. You've got to find a higher power, something bigger than yourself, and that could be service work or something. You got to meditate or pray or take a deep breath. You know, maintenance.
Yep.
You have to do it, and it's super hard for addicts.
Especially at first. Yeah.
And the thing of it is, there's always that debate about is it a disease? Is it not a disease?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you know, I go to AA every Sunday morning, and one of the guys in there, he says, "I was born an alcoholic, and I'm gonna die an alcoholic."
Yeah,
Been so He's been sober for 30 plus years,
I've heard things like that. Yeah.
but I was born an alcoholic, and I knew honestly, I was an alcoholic probably at the age of 16. Obviously, didn't show any of the symptoms or signs or behaviors at 16, but there was something there when I was about 18 years old, and I knew right there. And it was that I had never felt so free in my life. That euphoria,
Yeah.
that feeling of euphoric, like
You liked it more than other people did
that.
for sure.
That's right. And you know, looking at my family history and the chemical makeup, the DNA, and oh yeah, I
Yeah.
was a, I was a prime candidate to soak up the booze.
Yeah.
And so, and I had, you know, physical symptoms. It,
Withdrawals, stuff like that.
oh, I mean shakes. I mean
Yeah.
bad. And every morning I would throw up blood, dry heave. And it got to the point with my drinking, I wanted, and this is the insanity of it. I wanted to wake up in the morning and throw up. This is crazy. To feel the pain, to make myself suffer for what I had did the night before, like a repentance type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I needed the alcohol that morning to get rid of the shakes and the stomach. You get a couple drinks and you're not throwing up anymore.
Yeah.
You're stable, you know. And I lived like that for years. Years.
That yeah, just the dependency.
Years.
Hold on just a second here. I just want to make sure we're still connected here. Okay. So just for people maybe just tuning in now, again, I'm talking with Ben Snider, who is the creator of Tumtum, which is a new app that I'll let you go over again, but it's basically to eliminate app jumping from one app to another when you're delivering food, whether it's on Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash. What was the other one?
Postmates.
Postmates. That's the other one. Yeah. Uh, so just because people jump in and out a lot here, and I just shared it on my personal Facebook too, so probably get some more people joining. Um, so again, what you were obviously had a lot of free time on your hands because of the surgeries and the leg amputation being, basically on bed rest. So it sounds like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you came up with the idea. You and your nephew came up with the idea for this app and launched it, and it's you're working your way into getting it into the. Do you have an idea of when you're going to get it into this market, or
No,
like a?
I don't know. Hopefully soon. I don't know though. I don't know an ETA on the Quad Cities, to be honest. I wish I did. Um, that and I'm waiting to hear back. My idea got pitched to investors in
That'll
Atlanta.
help, obviously.
Yeah. So the company that I went through, it's Gadai, is the company. They're an app development company based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and they had an investor call. So I don't know how that went. I'm waiting to hear back, but that would generate, you know, enough revenue to start to really advertise
Yeah.
uh, on your social media networks and to really get the word out.
Get people to download the app.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a free download. We're not charging anything for it.
So where would the revenue come from on your end?
Yeah, so that's and I get that question a lot. So in time, if my app gets popular, your Uber Eats of the world, Grubhubs of the world, well, they're going to want to advertise on my app.
Yeah.
They're going to those little banners that are floating at the bottom and the top and the pop up right in the middle. And they're going to want to say, hey, download my app. We're going to give you a perk, or download it from Tumtum. Well, so there's going to be some advertising there, basically selling ad space on the app.
Yeah.
Is really how we'll support it. And then hopefully, if it grows, like I said, we can combine forces with another company. But yeah, that's how we're going to generate revenue, is through advertising.
Makes sense. Yeah, so no subscription, stuff like that.
Nope. And the thing of it is I didn't want the overhead. You look at the actual delivery services, if you think about their costs, they've got to pay drivers. They've got the insurance. So if a driver gets into an accident, what does that look like? What does that look like if a customer doesn't get their food? How do you remedy that? I didn't want that overhead. I didn't want that headache of trying to figure out all of the logistics of, using Google Maps to track your food and setting up number one, I don't have that type of money, because that's what it takes serious money to do that. I didn't have it. So something that made sense, but yet was what I could afford.
Yeah.
That was
well, and you don't want to try to do too much either.
That's right. Yeah, because when I first started getting the ball rolling, I had a million ideas.
Yeah, of course.
Just a million. Well, from that million, we got to narrow it down. I had 25 different names for the company.
Yeah, of course.
So I have to okay, these are the 5, and then narrow that down, and then to get it actually out on the app stores, we had to trim. So we couldn't do everything that I wanted to do right away. But like you said, in time, hopefully we can expand on the app and it'll grow, and become something pretty mainstream. Because, I do think that people, they want to talk about food. They love food. We need food to live. And, with this pandemic, people don't really, they were scared to go to the grocery store. You can have no contact delivery. Pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, and
So,
basically, for people that didn't hear it before, basically what that app does now, for where it's in market, of course, you'll be able to basically find the best deal for like say you wanted McDonald's, for example,
right.
delivered, you would be able to get the best deal, depending, and then it'll direct you to whichever app has the best deal
Yep.
between
Yep.
the big four of them.
Yeah, big four. And there's others out there, but yeah, I mean, that's yep. But best food delivery price. And it saves you time. And that's the thing. That was another benefit that my nephew and me talked about, was you could literally spend an hour app hopping. Well, if you've got a family, you got 2 kids, 3 kids, dog, you just got home from work, you give the kid the cell phone, order something for food. I don't have time for dinner. We've got to go to soccer, whatever it is. Well, do you have an hour to figure out what you're going to eat?
No, people do not.
No, I mean, you got to go. Like, nobody has time to figure out.
Well, that's why you're ordering food, mainly, because you don't want to take the time to cook or anything.
Right. But you don't want to waste an extra $10 for the exact same thing. Exact. Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen any delivery service do anything better than anyone else. It's not like Grubhub is delivering and executing an experience that is world class.
No, it's all the same.
What I'm saying, they all do the same thing. They all have their stupid little bag with their mask, and they act like it's warm. It's kind of warm.
Yeah,
it's like pizza. There's no. I mean, nobody's out there just saying, "Wow, this is just a great experience." No. Like, but you really got to go through DoorDash, man. They have the best delivery drivers. Like, nobody cares. So
yeah,
and until people start to care about it, it's never going to change.
Yeah, so people will be able to review their experience.
So if that's the case, then you might as well save $5 or $10 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and it's silly. It's silly.
Yeah, so, it may even force your app may even force these people to change.
Hopefully, and that was one of the kind of the underlying themes that I wanted, was to really create an experience for the customer. Because, including myself, I know other people where either one, your order got canceled, or it showed up, it was the wrong order, completely the wrong order. I've had that happen to me.
Yeah.
Where they grabbed another delivery.
Yeah.
Didn't check it. Food was cold. I've had it where they actually delivered it to the wrong apartment door.
Yeah.
So these are all problems, and there's no accountability. I mean, yeah, you can control your tip. You can control, well, how was the service?
A lot of it, if you're using a card, you tip before they even get there.
That's right.
Which is super messed up.
So, and then, okay, rate your experience. Well, you get a star. And you know what they say? Sorry. Well, if there's no, well, maybe we'll give you a $2 credit. Sorry for the bad experience.
I got a credit with DoorDash once. I will say that.
Yeah,
Because
and
they screwed up.
it's just, if we actually use smartphones to our advantage, what we should do, the driver should have to scan a QR code in the restaurant. Yep, it's right. It's correct.
Yeah.
Quality control. That's what should be going on. But
they don't have to do that.
They don't have to. So why would they?
Yeah. That's extra money.
And maybe my app will put pressure on the industry. Because it's a huge industry.
Oh yeah. And it just boomed.
It's billions of dollars. It's billions of dollars.
So how did you find the developers? You just did some research online and
I just did a Google search. I said create an app. How do I create an app? What company creates apps? And then basically what I did is I submitted on their websites, I submitted my idea. A description of my idea, why I think it's important, basically a business plan.
Yeah.
Essentially is what the description is. And then I got a call from 2 different companies that said, we really like your idea. And then from there, with research and development, market research, we looked at like Grubhub. I believe Grubhub's worth well over $1 billion. I mean, well over. And so we looked at the market research, and then I looked at the 2 companies, and I said, well, this company, they seem lackadaisical. They just not really on the ball. So I went with the other company. Seemed to be more motivated, more aggressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I because I knew I couldn't do it. I don't have a degree in that.
It'll take you forever to learn it, and
yeah.
Get it done right.
That's right. Quality control.
Yeah.
I want to put out a product that was terrible
or mediocre or anything like that. Yeah.
I want to do it the right way. And I've got to be patient around the Quad City area. I understand that, but I didn't want to do something that was just, because there's a lot of apps out there that they have like 1 download, and it's like why?
Yeah.
Why even create that? So I wanted to do it the right way.
So now you're just how are you spreading the word now? Because you're working on advertising, and that costs money. So
yep. Yeah. This is my advertising right now at this point. I just don't have it.
Yeah.
So,
well, hopefully, you got the investor interested, so that's something. And then obviously you can start pitching it to other. There's all kinds of investors out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully. So, it takes time and things will happen. I'm not worried. I just think it's really cool that I never would have, I'll put it this way. I never would have created Tumtum if I wasn't an alcoholic and if I didn't lose my leg.
Yeah, which is crazy to say, but it's true. Yeah.
I never would have created Tumtum. I also would have continued to live my life very unhappy and miserable. Because I was miserable. I hated working retail. I was pretty good at it, but I hated it. The mistreatment of employees is sickening. The lack of leadership, the lack of knowledge and guidance, really being trying to be the best in a really bad industry.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I didn't do it for that long, but I did it for long enough.
And so, you know, in a way, even though they were painful and hurtful, and it really, this whole experience really put me through a lot, almost death. I'm glad I went through it. And I mean that, because I can honestly say today I can have a conversation with you. I was on time, sober, and talked about my business, and a business that I never would have created. And it feels like I'm free, and not having to listen to bosses that don't get it, and
Yeah.
and to be able to use my creativity. You know, this is why I was so inspired when you put out that message on Facebook, because this is like a collaboration. Things that we've been through, you know, the mental illness side, the work side, the addiction side, that people need to know.
Yeah.
People need to be aware that just because you have some things that are going on, that there is help out there. I'm not going to be a dude that says, "Oh yeah, everything will be fine. Just do this, that." Bullshit.
Yeah.
Life's hard. Life at times sucks. But for the longest time, I put on this mask, this bullshit.
Yep.
And now it's time to buckle down and get real and start living my life how I want to live it. And I don't know. I just, there's so much more to life now that you appreciate life more when you go through a really bad experience.
Yeah, and I talked to a lot of people about when the pandemic started and everybody was freaking out, and all my friends in recovery were just like, "Yeah, I mean, we've been through way worse than this shit, like just internally, and put ourselves through hell, and it's almost like we're can be numb to certain things."
Yes.
Just because like I've had a couple of grandparents pass away over the last year, and it didn't hit me as hard. Obviously, I was not happy about the situation. It was obviously terrible, but it didn't hit me as hard as it hit some other family members who, maybe haven't, kicked their own ass as much as I have. And it was just surreal. I just noticed that, and that's the thing. Other things I noticed, things that I didn't notice before about myself and about the world and about other people, and just being aware of what's going on and not hiding out. Like the mask thing, I had different masks. I was a chameleon. I would blend in wherever I was and with whoever I was with, and be whoever I had to be just to fit in and be liked, and to get more of what I needed to get. And just really glad I don't have to live that way anymore. Just like you were saying, it's just really, it takes a huge toll on you.
Yep.
And it's so relieving and not to have to lie and, not skip out on stuff all the time. Like, yeah, if I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to be somewhere. I'm still adjusting on, I still have issues being on time sometimes. I'm better at it. I'll at least tell you I'm going to be late though. I didn't do that before. I would just show up. Like, you're lucky I showed up at all.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, not having to deal with that anymore, and yeah, just find the new way to live, and that is yeah, and that comes from a lot of work and a lot of working with other people, talking to other people, going to meetings, whatever type of meeting you want to go to, and seeing. I started seeing a therapist regularly again a couple of years ago. Same with a psychiatrist that doesn't just talk about drugs. She talks about me.
Yep.
Um, that's a big thing. But the fact that I had to go to Iowa City to find a psychiatrist where I could get in and not wait 6 months
Right.
was ridiculous. And that's something people don't talk about at all.
Yeah. And we can talk about that. That's a great subject.
Yeah, it's
Because
ridiculous.
it and you know what amazes me is that you do have to wait 4 to 6 months around here.
If you're starting out, yeah.
And during that, before you can actually get in, what's going to that 4 to 6 months?
Yeah.
So you just, for the next 4 months of your life, 6 months, you go about your life miserable,
Just hope for the best.
potentially may harm yourself or others that we've seen very recently in the news.
Yeah.
But if you have a heart attack, you're in the hospital immediately. You brought up a great point. The distinguishing between mental illness and bullshit.
Yeah.
And nobody should ever have to wait, in my opinion, especially in this country, to be able to talk to somebody.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of, even before the pandemic, but with the pandemic, a lot of virtual stuff's gone up, which is huge.
Yep.
That's been another resource because there's one app that I knew about before even the pandemic started that was doing virtual visits with therapists and things like that. So using technology to our advantage.
Yep.
And that happened with meetings for, like AANA, all that stuff as well, because obviously physical meetings weren't a thing for a little bit. Some were still doing it anyway, which whatever. But some people weren't comfortable with that, and they also wanted to stay clean, and they didn't want to use, and needed something. So I've seen a lot of good things happen from the pandemic, and on that aspect. And also, all of my visits with my psychiatrist and my therapist have been virtual since March, and they've actually been cheaper because they're virtual, which makes no sense, but whatever, because there's like been deals with insurance and stuff like that. And it's just easier for both of us. I mean, would I like to be in person? Probably.
Right.
but it's better than nothing. It's way better than nothing. Still that line of communication that I need.
Mhm.
So, and I don't have to drive to Iowa City because that's where I was going. Because I didn't want to wait 6 months because I missed an appointment with one of my psychiatrists, with my psychiatrist here, and to get back on her schedule, it was ridiculous. Because I screwed up. I mean, I forgot about the appointment. I messed up and didn't show up, and I tried to reschedule, and they're like, basically, I just had to start over. And I'm glad though, because I had that psychiatrist really felt more to me like a drug dealer than a psychiatrist. Like, what do you want? Do you want more of this? Do you need more of that? Do you want some Xanax? No, I don't want Xanax. I've told you this. Do not give me Xanax. That's the last thing I need. Do I want Xanax? Yes. Do I need Xanax? No. Like, big difference. So I had to explain that to her a couple times, and it was like, now I see a psychiatrist where she knows I'm an addict. She knows I'm in recovery. We're very hesitant about certain things. She monitors, when I refill stuff, for potential, abuse or anything like that. And I'm just honest with her. That's really what it's all about. And you're not going to tell anybody, any of these therapists or psychiatrists, something they haven't heard before.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
They have heard it all. They've heard a lot of things that you don't want to hear. But yeah, that's what they get paid for. That's their job. But yeah, the virtual thing, I've encouraged that to people because people, as an option to look into, to
Yeah.
try to avoid that wait for in-person
Yep.
stuff. But because there's things like Teledoc, and a lot of your insurance may cover it, or already have a partner
Yep.
with a site or an app that does that already. Or your employer, people don't know about the employee assistance program. Like, nobody knows about that.
Oh yeah. Is huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's huge. Yeah, you can get free visits, all kinds of good stuff.
Oh, and when I was working, I did use the EAP. This is for people out there that are, struggling. Use your employer as a resource.
Yep. They want you to be healthy, otherwise you can't
Use
work.
I don't want to say take advantage of it, but take advantage of it.
I mean, there's no other way to put it, really. That's what it's there for. I mean, my company makes sure to mention it. I work for a benefits company, so they make sure to mention stuff.
Absolutely. Oh, and it helped me at times, as a manager. I was uh, I had an anxiety attack. What happened? And I was the manager on duty, and luckily there was another manager there, and I had to call the EAP line to calm me down. So it is a good resource, and I've done Microsoft Teams with therapists. So the virtual thing, yeah, it's a great starting point, but the mental illness thing, I'm more educated now than I ever have been. And when I look at like all of these problems that are going on in our country and in the world, it all comes down to mental illness.
Yeah, I see it that way too, and it doesn't get talked about.
No, it's okay. Somebody shot somebody, but the underlying issue, it's mental illness.
You don't just shoot somebody. It's just not.
You don't go in, into a FedEx building, kill multiple people, and have the attitude, well, my life is so bad that not only am I going to make everyone around me suffer, then I'm going to kill myself. So I'm going to force all of my sadness and anger, resentment, fear onto the world before I die. That's a mental health issue. I don't care what anybody. It's a mental health. Just like addiction, it's a mental health issue.
Yeah.
Yes, it turns into a physical. It turns into a physical problem.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it tears your body apart, but it's a mental health issue. It is. It's a disease, and you can really, I really feel you can really put a big balloon or a big hat around the problems in society are because of mental illness. It is a lot of it. And
Yeah, people aren't talking to each other as much either, especially
no,
especially over the last year. But before that, it was bad anyway. I mean, nobody really talks to anyone. It's all small talk bullshit.
yep. Yeah, they don't. People really don't get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of substance, and probably. Well, I know a time in my life I didn't have a lot of substance either, being drunk all the time. But I see so many people now, and it's really obvious the struggles. You see it on people's faces.
Mm-hmm.
That look of displacement. They're not content. They're not happy. They're not really sad either. They're just kind of
It's coasting
living.
there.
They're just kind of living.
They're existing is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I felt for a long time. Is I was not really living. I was just existing and
Oh,
going
yeah.
going through the motions.
And especially being intoxicated all the time. Um, that's all you did. You wake up, you existed. No purpose.
Yep.
No purpose. And Tumtum gave me purpose. So thank God for that. And that's really why I talk about that experience. Because
Yeah.
because those experiences that I went through gave me purpose today.
Yeah, you had to go through that to get to where you are now.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I am so grateful that I can have a conversation with you tonight about that.
I remember a couple of years ago we talked, and then
Yeah.
you had reached out, and yeah, had me worried there, man. I'm glad you. But it was one of those things, like, because I hear from people every once in a while, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I can't make them. I can't make them want it as much as I did.
Yeah.
It has to happen somehow.
Yeah. And, and everybody's different. And, I had that moment, that spiritual awakening. Not everybody does. I did. But everybody's different. And, but, you know, just lucky today to be alive and share my story. Um, because alcohol, I lost my house, I lost my car, I lost my job, I lost my leg, almost lost my life,
Yeah, relationships, everything.
chips, lost 4 teeth. Um,
I lost 14. I lost a part of a tooth one time, and I still don't know how it happened.
um, I had gum disease. Um, just on and on. So those experiences has led me to today. And I'm proud of that. I'm not proud of what I've done,
Yeah.
but I'm proud of where I'm headed and where I'm going. And I'm proud of the fact that I know myself better than I've ever known myself before.
Yeah, that gives you like just this
I,
amount of freedom that people don't understand.
yeah, I know myself.
Yep.
So, that's just my little tidbit of hope, I guess. And hopefully Tumtum launches, and hopefully my crazy ass brain wasn't too stupid and it actually works. So
It's definitely a great idea, and it makes a lot more sense that because I wanted you to, obviously you explain it and something you're passionate about and want you to
yeah,
share about it. So
for sure.
um yeah, it's a lot. It's simple and it's straight to the point. Um and yeah, I'm looking forward to the opportunity. There's gonna be a lot of opportunities for you if you just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, the way it works.
Yep. And I don't think I could work for anybody ever again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's another thing. Yeah, I got the slight I got that slight freedom, but unfortunately I wasn't ready to get clean yet, so I screwed it up.
But
Where I was running a business, and I want that back again. But right now I'm going the safe route. Um, you know, getting paid decently, having decent benefits, working for a company that I don't hate, which is tough. Um, where I get along with people and I feel like I have a purpose there. But eventually down the road, I'm gonna have to be doing something on my own again.
right.
Just I just don't know what it is yet, and I don't want to rush into it. It'll just be one of those things like you were talking about with your nephew, and you just had this idea, and you're like, okay, this has legs, this makes sense, and you got to take risk and go for it. But
Yeah.
I haven't had that idea yet. I know I will. I'm
Yeah.
just waiting.
Yeah. It was kind of a catch-22 because for me, it was I have nothing to lose, right?
Oh yeah,
You know, I'm I'm laid up. I don't have anything. But at the same time, I had to take that risk. It was like the perfect storm. It's like everything fell into place. I had to take the risk. I had to. And if I didn't take the risk, I'd still be pissed at myself
yeah.
today.
The regret, yeah,
Matter of
not
fact,
doing it.
we wouldn't even be talking
Yeah,
if I didn't take the risk. I had to. You only got one chance, so you got to take it. And with all of the chaos that was in my life during that time, that was the only thing that made sense. Is to develop a new company.
yeah, which is a very complicated thing.
Things up here that was making sense.
Yeah.
Everything else was chaos. I wasn't drinking at the time because I was so injured, but my head was still messed up.
Yeah.
That happened. But that was the one thing that kept me sane.
Yeah. You had a purpose.
Yeah. Crazy. Crazy how life is.
Yeah, it is. Well, I better get this wrapped up. I try
All
not to
right.
go too long. But I definitely appreciate you coming on, and it was good
Yeah.
catching up with you. We'll have to meet up in person sometime soon.
Yeah. We'll get some food or a coffee or something.
Yeah, we'll get delivery, but the cheapest route possible, hopefully. All right, man. We'll talk soon, okay?
Take care, man. Thank you.
Yep, you too. Bye.
Bye.